class, silent. So in our last class, we have studied about what is the material. Here we have seen there are two basic kind of material. One is
Authentic material
and another is
simulated material.
simulated material. And what is authentic material? The material which will be used for
Education purpose.
real life purpose. Authentic material is something, for example, song, probably a song. Describe একটা song এর নাম বলো. Mention a song. The song এর নাম বলো. যেটা which is your favorite? Yes.
Skyfall.
Yes.
Skyfall.
For example, if it is your favorite, but in your classroom, the song is not made for you, isn't it? The writer hasn't written this
He didn't
song
have
for
any
you.
purpose
But
to-
you, as an innovative teacher, maybe you want to teach your student something like tone and how to use different kinds of rhymes. So you are using this song in the classroom. So authentic materials are those materials that has been created for real life,
Yes. Now
not
I can
for
understand.
educative purpose. So these are authentic materials. Maybe you are using cartoon, Mina cartoon,
Yes.
in the class to teach something like equality, gender discrimination. These things, it is in your mind. It is not in the mind those who created it. That one day he will present it in the class to teach things.
Yes. So I think the materials which actually didn't had any purpose when it was made, but then
Yes.
a creative teacher used it in his teaching. Then
Yes.
it calls an authentic material. Is it true?
Yes, yes.
এখানে মানে ডিডেন্ট হ্যাড পারপাস ওটা পারপাস ছিল না এমন না একটা পারপাস ছিল
Yes.
আমাদের যে পারপাসটা ওটা ফুলফিলের জন্য
Doesn't match your purpose. They have their own purpose,
Yes.
but it
Exactly.
is not matching with
The
your
purpose was not to make a lecture on that topic,
Yes.
using
right.
that thing, using that material.
Yes, right. For example, in the class, in engineering classroom, probably
Yes.
you are using a toy. You are using something, a
Really?
car, to show the machine, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes.
So it is a realia. You
Yeah.
are using this material to teach your class something, different systems, different things, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes, yes.
So sometimes, what do you think? My question to you: what kind of material is more adaptable and more educative for the class? Is it authentic or simulated?
I think the both. If the teacher is creative enough, then he can also use the best use of the
Okay,
authentic
can
material.
you please come forward and you will tell us, because it will be one of the important questions, isn't it? So tell us. So which material you think is more applicable and more educative for the learners?
Ma'am, if I say that it's not about the material, it's all about how the teacher is introducing those material to the students, to the trainees.
Yes.
Because ma'am, you know, the one side, the simulated materials, which has a purpose that I am making this material for my class, as I had an intended meaning, I had an intended purpose that I'm gonna make some slides to describe those things. It will be helpful for my student to easily comprehend.
Very good.
But so it is, we can take it as it is more impactful. But rather, on the other hand, if a creative teacher comes with some authentic material, and if she or he be able to make the best use of it, then it is also impactful. So I think it depends on the teacher and his teaching style.
Very good. Shabbai, happily down. Okay, sit down. You are very true. Sometimes, I'm not saying authentic material is the only material that you will be using in the class. But sometimes, like you want to show the conversation between two people. If you use simulated text like English for today. So this is a created text, isn't it?
Yes.
Sometimes you will see our mind is biased, because if I want to teach adjective to our students or sentence structure, complex sentence structure, I will be continuously using complex sentence structure that actually create more artificial text.
Exactly.
This doesn't give a real flavor what a real life is. For communicative teaching, CLT, we have to bring that real things in our class. Sometimes, কিছু জিনিস থাকতে পারে, it is more, for example, your class is 6, 7, 8, it's a child. If we use some adult things, so it would be a bit inappropriate for the class, isn't it?
Yes.
Some cultural context, like cultural information, that Halloween or some other things that we do not know. So sometimes we can change it. So we are using the material because we need the real material sometimes. But however, it needs some changes. This is
Yes.
called material
adaptation.
adaptation. So in our last class, we have had a very brief idea about what is a material and different kinds of material. Today we will be reading material adaptation. Write it. So there are certain principles, rules, and techniques to adapt a text, to adapt a real material. And we will be seeing here the principles and techniques of material adaptation, right? Principles and techniques of material adaptation. So, there are some reasons for material adaptation. Why we adapt the material according to the situation. Why? Three important reasons. McDonald and Shaw. He has his book. Their name. There are two writers of the book. I will be sharing this book with you in your group. Okay? There is a chapter, a singular chapter, which is only written on materials. How to adapt a material. So they are saying that there are three important reasons why we adapt that material. First one, to personalize. One of the reasons to adapt the materials is to personalize. The second one is to individualize. And the third one is to localize. So, what do you think? What is to personalize? AJ, see the word personalize. So, what the meaning we get from it? Okay. But how can we connect it to our students?
Based on their needs, what the demand of the student, what I am going to teach them, what their interest that they are learned to.
Yes. Sometimes their learning style very good perception. So personalize. If I bring something that they cannot connect with their life, their experience, their situation, also their learning style. Everyone have different learning styles. Then it will be a problem. They will never understand it. If I'm here and I'm going to teach you something from engineering branch, then it will not be personalized because you are a group of English language learners, isn't it?
Exactly.
Even if I use something literary text, it would not be personalized. So I have to address every person here, every student as a personal being, and I have to address this according to to increase the relevance of the content in relation to learners' need, interest, and background. What do you need? বলো তো এই ক্লাসে কি লাগবে? কেন তোমরা আসছো বলো?
To know about English literature and language.
Particularly in this class.
Particularly in this class, to know about the materials and also
Only to know about the matter. Don't you want to develop anything, any kind of skill that you have come here?
yes,
Don't you need
to
anything?
improve my teaching style, to improve my
Maybe one day in future life, you will be a curriculum developer, syllabus syllabus developer. You will design syllabus. You will devise course outline for your course.
Yes.
So this course actually all about designing the curriculum, designing the syllabus, and also coming up with certain materials that will be effective for the class. Isn't it? So you are in need. That's why you have come here
Yes.
to learn.
Exactly.
So if I don't teach something that helps you to develop that kind of skill to design the syllabus or to have a good idea about what kind of materials would be appropriate, so then it will never work. So it would not be helpful. If I give just blindly a lecture, you will not be developed. So that's why sometimes materials are used to personalize. Personal means to increase the relevance of the content in relation to learners' needs, interests, and backgrounds. Your background, you are from which background? So I have to keep it in the mind. For example, the class I am taking, the materials I am using here, it would be appropriate if I take this class in a village, remote village area.
No.
If some illiterate people,
No.
if I teach in this way, if I using the materials and as well as I am speaking in English,
Yes.
no, probably I will be teaching them material
The same material, but
in
in
Bangla
Bangla.
and more easy way. And coming example, bringing example, they will never understand what is curriculum.
Curriculum.
But you already have that idea. Curriculum, syllabus. So
Materials.
I have to change my tone mood. So that's it, personalization.
Exactly.
Then individualize to address learner's individual learning style. So what do you think? What is a learner's learning style?
Ma'am, as you referred.
For example, what is your learning style?
Ma'am, my learning style is basically at first I try to understand the main thing, and then I do some draft from the previous knowledge that I have gained from the book or maybe some text
Yes.
or somewhere, and then I start to write. And when I write 2 times, then I can get in the flow, then I can remember it for a long time.
Okay, it is your strategy. It is not your style.
So
Style is something general that what is style? For example, there are different kinds of learners. First of all, you have to categorize that learners, what kind of learners you are. Based on sensory preference, right? Based on sense, our 5 senses. Hiki. What are the 5 senses? Sight of eye, hearing, then touch. Okay, taste. There are 4 kinds of learners.
And based on sensory,
Based on sensory preferences, there are different kinds of learners. Sense উপর ভিত্তি করে whose sense works the most while learning, এটাই বোঝাচ্ছে. What do you think? What kind of learners were? কোনটা বেশি লাগে? Are you a visual learner? You learn more effectively watching videos, charts, graphs. কি হয় যে লেখা পড়তে ভালো লাগে না, বুঝি না, but if I see a picture or video, then I can understand it very well, understand the content. Those who understand it very well, they are visual learners. Visual,
Yes.
something vision,
something practically when they see.
like through watching they learn it most, isn't it? So they are called visual learners. তোমরা অনেকে দেখবা মনোযোগী হয় না, তো যদি আমি জাস্ট ভিডিও if I just speak in the class, give lecture, he will not be adherent to listening. But however, if I show him any kind of video, then he will be much interested.
Yes.
That means his sense of
Visual.
sight is working more effectively than other senses. So they are called visual learner. Then another one is auditory learner. Auditory means
শুনে শুনে
hearing, sense of hearing. I think I consider myself an auditory learner. I'm not that visual learner. For example, my sense of physical elements is very zero. I don't understand it by seeing the physical elements. Sometimes my observation power is not that much good. But however, I am a good auditory learner. I listen. In my student life, I very rarely read materials. Rather, I just came in the class, focused each and every single sound of my teacher's lecture, and noted it down in my script. So that even now, after just passing after graduation and masters, I can remember those words, those important words, and that really shaped my teaching as well. The valuable teaching I have got from my teachers. I have applied it in my own teaching as well. So I think myself as an auditory learner. So who else do you think you are auditory learner or visual learner?
Visual.
Everyone, visual learner. In this era, 21st century, no one want to hear. Everyone will watch, right?
Yes.
There are TikToks, YouTube, Facebook, so many ideas. Yes. Then, who is auditory learner? He, auditory learner. So maybe he just focus on the listening, isn't it? So those who are watching videos like news presentation, also podcast,
Yes.
isn't it? So some discussion, they are auditory learners. Sometimes we say, oh, how can you be so boring? You are hearing this news and podcast.
Podcast.
No, they learn the most whenever they and some of you are very interested to see that catchy videos and catchy pictures, isn't
Pictures,
it?
yes.
So you are auditory learner. Then there are another kind of learner, reading and writing learner.
Maybe that's
Reading and writing learner. You need materials, you read things, you love to read books, you love to write, and you are reading and writing learners. So like cognitive connection with the words, with the characters. Reading and writing. Then there are kinesthetic learner. In your literature, didn't you read that 5 senses? Synesthetic, kinesthetic, auditory image, visual image. Can you remember?
Yes, I.
সব বলে গিয়েছো? First semester introduction to literature. Didn't you read?
maybe we missed it.
Exam শেষ। So kinesthetic কি হয়? In a diverse classroom, some student may have ADHD problem. What is ADHD? Attention-এর সমস্যা, মনোযোগের সমস্যা, অস্থির বলে না? ওই যে অমনোযোগী ছাত্রদের জন্য বিশেষ স্কুল যাদের মনোযোগ বসে না। So what can we do with them? They can't keep their attention to anything. So we engage them in movement. এই যাও দৌড়ে আসো, দৌড়ে যে শেখাটা, hands on, হাতে করে কাজ করে যে শেখাটা, ঠিক আছে? Instead of just reading, writing or listening to your teacher, I am just engaging you in some tasks, and through completing this task you learn something. So kinesthetic is hands-on task, like kinesthetic learners who learns through doing it by himself. Who are you? Who are kinesthetic learners among you? Love to learn by doing things.
Actually, to be honest, sometimes I find myself as a visual learner.
Yes.
Sometimes I can relate with that I am an auditory learner. And sometimes when I am not getting any video or don't hearing anything from somewhere, then I read just book and write some stories maybe. And then I feel myself as a reading and writing learner. And sometimes when I join in practical classes or I join any event, then I find myself as a kinesthetic learner. So who am I actually?
So you are the mixture of all the things. So you are a mixture of all the things. That's why the main task of the teacher to combine all these learning style in his teaching. Maybe he will develop these materials, like in my last slide. there was some reference text, wasn't it?
Yes.
So I addressed those learners who are reading and writing kind of learners, who love to read. Maybe this material wasn't enough for him, so he want to do further study and write something on it, want to build more knowledge. So reading and writing learners, and something the speech I have given, the lecture I have delivered, it will help those auditory learners. Then I could engage if you were probably 5 or 6 years old. I could add some visual image,
Yes.
isn't it? Because children very much like that visual image. Not only children, but also adults and others also like image to see something visually.
Visual representation.
But however, in your classroom situation, if you are trying to give lecture, it is very difficult. It is much needed to. It is very difficult to incorporate all these things, visualize, because you have to invest your time in searching for visual ideas, and
Yes.
some things like abstract things that sometimes it is very hard to visualize, isn't it?
Exactly.
Because in this situation where undergraduate or graduate level, we are teaching you something abstract things, and it is very difficult to bring that. But however, this is the real challenge: how to make the abstract things, that critical ideas, syllabus design and psycholinguistics, how to incorporate that transform these things, abstract things, into concrete. It is a challenge, but if you can do it, then your class will be more effective.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Is it something that we are reading today, material adaptation?
Yes.
It is material adaptation, that I am making my material actually I am taking a material and then I am
Adapting,
adjusting
it.
adjusting it
Yes.
according to my need.
Yes, if you can connect, you are very welcome.
According to my need,
Yes.
according
So
to learner's
you are
need.
personalized. So how can you connect it? Where is it?
And according to learner's need and motivation.
Yes,
Yes.
then I have to think about three things. The first one is personalizing,
Personalize.
and then individualizing my material, and then also localizing my material.
Yes. So when you are using the material in the classroom, and you have to, while adapting it,
Yes.
you have to keep in your mind 3 reasons why you are
Adapting. Yes, exactly.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So increase learners' individual learning style. So you are gradually changing your material. So you are adding some images for addressing those visual learners' inquiries, isn't it? Their needs. Then localize. Right? So 3 reasons. First one was personalize.
Personalize.
Second one is
Individualize.
individualize, and third one is localize. Localize means to enhance cultural appropriateness of the materials. So localize. Also, this is also material adaptation of also choosing the material. So while choosing the material for the classroom, you have to keep these 3 important
things.
ideas in your mind.
Yes.
And also adapting while editing. You have to, if there is anything cultural inappropriate, then just delete it.
Oh.
So to enhance cultural appropriateness means localize. Local means key. Context. কোন লোকালে আছো তুমি? You are in Bangladesh?
As like আমি যদি কোনো একটা ইভেন্টের এক্সাম্পল দিই, সো বাংলাদেশের প্রেক্ষিতে আমি হলোইনের এক্সাম্পলটা না দিয়ে ঈদের বা পূজার এক্সাম্পলটা যদি দিই, তাহলে আমরা বেশি কানেক্ট করতে পারবো, কারণ আমাদের কালচারের সাথে ওই ঈদ বা পূজাটা কানেক্টেড বেশি।
Yes, very good. Very good. It's very good. Then there are 4 principles and techniques. There are 4 ways to adapt a text, to make a text appropriate for your classroom. 1. ওইগুলো কি? Adding. 2. Deleting or omitting. 3. Modifying. 4. Simplifying. 5. Reordering. So what do you think? Adding means way you can do to add some.
To add something which is needed in my in that material to
Personalize,
exactly
individualize and
localize the student.
So first one, inclusion of further materials, task activities and exercises. Further materials, tasks. For example, there are some tasks, but however, the tasks are not sufficient to teach something, to teach the students. So you are adding more tasks that is similar. Understood? Like you have implemented a specific task. You have given your a task to a student to talk to the hotel manager about something. But however, that is not enough for his practice. So you are employing more tasks regarding it. You are adding a task, isn't it?
Yes.
So there is a in a book there is something like this is one of the tasks. Then you are adding this. Already you are taking this material, for example, in real life, from real life, from authentic. It is an authentic material. However, it doesn't include enough practice session. So you are adding some practice session.
Okay.
You are adding it for better understanding, isn't it? Because this has been taken from our real life. Sometimes real life doesn't sufficiently serve our purpose.
Yes, exactly.
So we are
the materials are raw, and
Yes.
then we have to adjust or edit those things.
edit those things.
Actually, in this edit section, for this adding part, we are just adding something.
Adding something.
Actually, we're not
Yes.
removing something.
For example, you want to teach your students complex sentences. So the text you have taken are not in complex sentences. So you are adding some sentences or phrase or a part that
Exactly.
is in. You are adding something.
Adding something. Exactly.
Understood? You are not deleting anything. Just adding.
Okay, just if I am done with teaching simple sentences, then I will simply tell my students some conjunctions and some conjunctions. I will teach them about some conjunctions which I have added to my lesson, and then I will just say them to change the sentences or to connect different sentences just using those connectors or those conjunctions, and
Yes.
that's how you can make a complex sentence together.
Yes.
So I have just added here the conjunction part, and
Yes.
they are eventually being able to make complex sentences.
Yes.
Is
Yes.
it?
It can be. For example, activity. There is a text. There is one activity. You can add some activity regarding
Good
that.
example.
Isn't it? So there are you can what can I say? You want to teach your students complex sentences,
Yes.
but however the sentences are very simplistic.
Yes.
So there can be an activity where you can make those sentences into complex sentences.
Yes, yes, yes,
You are
yes.
adding something.
Adding
isn't it?
something.
Because you want to teach your students complex ones.
Yes.
You are adding things for your teaching purpose.
Yes.
আমি বলি যে আমরা যে চারটা লার্নারের ডেফিনেশনটা আপনি বললেন আমাদেরকে, আমরা যে চার ধরনের ডিফারেন্ট কাইন্ডস অফ লার্নার্স আছে, এটাও কিন্তু একটা অ্যাডিং।
Yes, this is also adding. This is also very good.
আপনি যখন পড়ানোর সুবিধার্থে যখন
Yes.
আমাদের কাছে আসছে ভিজুয়ালাইজ, পার্সোনালাইজ, তখন আপনি এই লার্নার্সের কথাটা ইন্ট্রোডিউস করছেন যাতে আমরা কি ধরনের লার্নার্স ওই যে ক্রাইটেরিয়াগুলোর সাথে অ্যাডজাস্টেড,
Yes.
সিমিলারলি কানেক্টেড। দ্যাট ইজ হোয়াই ইউ অ্যাড দিস four types of learners.
Yes.
This is the mainly adding.
Yes, very good. So you are coming with this material, but however you want to adapt it to the classroom situation. Learners, different learning style. So তোমার একজন learner, he is visually কিছু দেখতে পাচ্ছে না. So এখানে তুমি you can include the recorded section. Isn't it?
Okay, fine.
So adding something according to the interest and need. To be effective within the given time. Bringing in qualitative and quantitative changes to the materials to meet learners' needs. So qualitative, what does it mean? Qualitative
The quality education.
meaning a change নিয়ে আসে. You are adding something that is changing the whole meaning of the text sometimes. This is called qualitative changes. And quantitative changes, not
How
changing
much?
the quality, the meaning,
Yes.
but changing the amount, the content in number.
Amount of
ডাটা ইনফরমেশন অ্যামাউন্ট অফ
ইনফরমেশন
ম্যাটেরিয়াল
ইয়েস মানে সংখ্যাগত চেঞ্জ বাট গুণগত চেঞ্জ
Exactly.
Concept change হবে।
Yes.
Types of adding. There are extension or extending, and there is expansion and expanding. Which is qualitative and quantitative এর ভিত্তিতে একটা হচ্ছে one is extending, another is expanding. Extend is just quantity change. Extend and expand quality change. Extend adding more of the same nature. Same nature একই রকম যদি কমপ্লেক্স সেন্টেন্স থাকে আর একটু কয়েকটা কমপ্লেক্স সেন্টেন্স অ্যাড করে দিলাম একই নেচারের না এটা যদি ভিডিওস থাকে আরো কিছু ভিডিও ইউজ করে দিলাম সো দিস ইজ কল্ড extension adding but quantitative change quantity change সংখ্যায় চেঞ্জ বাট গুণগত মান না
এক্সারসাইজটা
বলেন না আমরা হয়তো সংখ্যায় বেড়েছি কিন্তু আমাদের খাবারের আমাদের we have many branches we have another outlet but that will not change our quality of the taste
Yes.
isn't it we have so many learners maybe this is a huge classroom but the quality of the teaching will not change I can assure you so this is called quality versus quantity adding more of the same nature quantitative changes including more minimal pairs for example যাদের হচ্ছে স্পিচ সমস্যা আছে যেমন সি there is difference between সি সা and সা isn't it কিন্তু দেখবা কিছু তাদের আর্টিকুলেটের সমস্যার কারণে শাকেও সা বলছে সো তাদের জন্য কি করা হয় সিপ এন্ড শিপ এরকম একটা एग्जांपल আছে ওই ম্যাটেরিয়ালে কিন্তু তার কাছে মনে হচ্ছে that needs some changes instead of quality changes qualitative quantitative changes happen যে জাস্ট ওইটাই ওই ধরনের আমি কিছু নেচারে
আরো
আরো
কিছু add
एग्जांपल
করো।
দিলাম সা এন্ড শা এর মধ্যে আর কি পার্থক্য আছে বলো তো সা এন্ড শা দুইটা এরকম ওয়ার্ড বলো তো ডিফারেন্স করে
সি শোর
সি শো সি শি
Shore.
সি শি
সি হ্যাঁ সি
S
শি
W
সি
S
শি
H she so
শিপ
yes so
সি
এরকম
সি
করে
শিপ
yes so ship ship then there is also difference between sheep and sheep
Sheep and sheep.
what are the difference between sheep and sheep
in sheep ship here is a short sound
Short vowel.
it's mean the sheep and in the sheep it sounds like sheep
sheep
sheep sheep
so for quantitative changes the amount changes আরো কিছু एग्जांपल অ্যাড করা for better practice ছেলেমেয়ে যেন আরো বেশি এক্সটেন্ড করা হয় ঠিক আছে শিপ শিপ সো ওই সমস্যাটা চলে যাবে
হ্যাঁ
including more minimal pairs reading text আরো কিছু টেক্সট বলে না ম্যাডাম আমাদের প্র্যাকটিস সেশন দেন আরো কিছু যেন প্র্যাকটিস করতে পারি জাস্ট কিন্তু একই কোয়ালিটি বাট উই আর জাস্ট অ্যাডিং সাম মোর ম্যাটেরিয়ালস রিডিং ম্যাটেরিয়ালস
okay
grammar exercises of the same needed for particular groups and culture so more exercises we are doing expansion for expansion including items of different nature qualitative and also qualitative and quantitative changes the first one was quantitative and the second one was qualitative and quantitative because quantitative change করলে qualitative change অনেক সময় হয়ে যায়
হ্যাঁ।
যদি না হয় then it is extension but যদি quantitative change করে পরিমাণে এবং quality change হয়ে যায় then it is called expansion see including items of different nature methodologies framework example adding stress and rhythm to individual sound for pronunciation adding discussion to grammar exercises so there if you are adding some discussion like if s এর সাথে yes যখন discussion part থাকে না কিছু word sentence এটা কি different nature এর না ওটা কি example no it is a discussion part
Discussion.
you are adding for example there is a text but there are no activities that you can teach the students so you are adding some activities like for after this according to this text now discuss this thing among yourself the pros and for example the text is about the advantages of disadvantages of living a life in Dhaka city the text is here and you can you can just develop some activities regarding it so that it could be helpful for the students, for they are enhancing their speaking ability and discussing and critiquing something, recising something. So one of the activity can be, you can include the, now you are two of your friends, now discuss, one will talk about the advantages and other will be talking about the disadvantages. Then there will be good discussion and debate and you will be able to develop certain kinds of ability, isn't it?
Yes.
So this adding some tasks, it's kind of different, isn't it? So it is changing the quality of the text.
Exactly. So ma'am, one thing, if we just notice one thing, which is the quantity,
Yes.
I missed it. The quality. If we change, if we just notice if the quality of the teaching is being changed or not, then we can just simply differentiate between extending and expanding.
Yes.
Because qualitative change is the common between these two types.
Yes. Quantitative change. সংখ্যায় চেঞ্জ
হ্যাঁ,
সংখ্যা চেঞ্জ করলে অনেক সময় কি হয়,
ওই সংখ্যায় চেঞ্জটা তো ম্যাম দুইটার মধ্যেই আছে, তাই না?
yes.
তো আমরা যদি শুধু ওই গুণগত পরিবর্তন হয়েছে কিনা সেটুকু দেখি, তাহলেই তো
সংখ্যায়
আমরা,
পরিবর্তন হলে কিন্তু গুণগত পরিবর্তন হয়।
কিন্তু ম্যাম ওই উপরেরটা যেটা এক্সটেন্ডিং, ওইটাই তো
Extending এর সংখ্যায় পরিবর্তন কোন দিকে করছো তুমি বলো?
এক্সটেন্ডিং এর ক্ষেত্রে তো ম্যাম শুধু সংখ্যাগত পরিবর্তন হচ্ছে, গুণগত পরিবর্তন
গুণগত হচ্ছে না, কারণ তুমি ওই নেচারেরই অ্যাড করছো।
ও, আচ্ছা।
এখন যদি তুমি গ্রামাটিক্যাল প্র্যাকটিস, একটা সিম্পল সেন্টেন্স প্র্যাকটিস, আরেকটা সিম্পল সেন্টেন্স ঢুকায় দাও না আরেকটু এক্সারসাইজের জন্য, ইট ইজ নট চেঞ্জিং দ্য গুণগত মান।
ও আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে।
আন্ডারস্টুড?
হ্যাঁ।
সিম্পল সেন্টেন্সের প্র্যাকটিসের সময় না আমি কমপ্লেক্স সেন্টেন্স শিখাচ্ছি, ইমিডিয়েট করতেছি যে ওরা সিম্পল সেন্টেন্সগুলো পারে, তখন আমি কমপ্লেক্স সেন্টেন্স শেখানোর সময় কিছু সিম্পল সেন্টেন্স অ্যাড করলাম, এটা কিন্তু সেম নেচার না কমপ্লেক্স সেন্টেন্স।
তখন কি হবে?
তখন এটা কোয়ালিটেটিভ হবে।
কোয়ালিটেটিভ,
Right.
হ্যাঁ, রাইট,
আন্ডারস্টুড?
একদম।
তখন কিন্তু আরেকটু বেশি চ্যালেঞ্জিং হয়ে গেল বাচ্চার জন্য।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ,
ওকে, ক্যান ইউ টার্ন ইট অফ?
ইয়েস আই ক্যান।